What is up, guys? Welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be talking about the ways that you can maximize your physical attractiveness. Okay, because a lot of people are talking about your looks are only genetics, there's only so much you can do about your bone structure, your facial structure. While it is true that your genetics do determine a large part of your looks, a lot of other things like your environment, your diet, your lifestyle, all of these things play into your looks. So today we're going to be talking about the things that you can control, the things that you can actively do to improve your physical attractiveness and to turn yourself into the best looking version of yourself that you can possibly be, or that your genetics allow you to be. Now, I'm not saying that if you take my advice, you're going to all of a sudden look like Jeremy Meeks. I know the black pillars love glazing that guy, but you will become better looking. Okay, so in case some fucking, black pill YouTuber catches you walking in the street and then they take a couple pictures of you in your side profile, and then you're fucking scrolling on reels or shorts one day and you see a video of yourself, this guy has thick, positively tilted eyebrows with equal facial thirds. However, his ramus is too long and his cheekbones aren't prominent enough. He has a wide mid face but a negative candle tilt. Like, you don't want some guy analyzing you and then giving you a fucking 3 out of 10 in the face. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna try our best to maximize our physical attractiveness. Some of you guys may think it's not even possible. Like, what, bro? I'm fucking 22, 23. Look, the truth is, the younger you are, right, if you haven't hit puberty yet, these tips are going to work way better than the people who are already, pretty developed. However, with that being said, this works for everybody. It really does, guys. Maximizing your looks is not impossible. I don't care what these genetic determinists tell you. It's all genes, bro. Give up. There is so much within your control and there's so much you can do to make yourself more attractive. Don't believe these people talking about, oh, it's over if you weren't born this way. Yeah, sure, maybe you're not going to become some 6'4" Chad, but we can all strive to become as good looking as we possibly can. And so I have a list of things here that are backed by research and that I truly believe if you incorporate, you will start to see results in your life and you will start to become more physically attractive and better looking. And if you're wondering how we're going to be ranking these, it's basically based on 3 things, right? What are the 3 things that influence your looks? It is your face, your height, and your physique. So the things that have the most prominent effect on your face, your height, and your physique are going to be ranked the highest. Contrary to popular belief, it is not just your physique that you can change. There's a lot you can do about your bone structure, and if your growth plates are still open, there's a lot you can do about your height too, so pay attention. Anyways, if you want to see more content like this, make sure you subscribe and let's get into the video. So the first thing we have here is weight training. So to be the most aesthetic, healthy, and functional version of yourself possible, you want to train more like an athlete than a bodybuilder. I know nowadays there's this like clunky bodybuilder culture of guys who eat a bunch of junk food in the name of bulking, and they do a bunch of like sitting isolation exercises just so they can get that gym bro physique. But the truth is that the most attractive physiques are the ones that complement your natural frame, meaning that you have lean muscle mass, a relatively low body fat percentage, not too low or else your T levels are going to drop, and you look healthy and functional rather than like a big and scary looking machine that doesn't actually work. And maybe this advice won't resonate with you if you're like a power lifter or if you're competing in bodybuilding competitions, but I'm going to be honest, the lean athlete physique is objectively the most attractive, not only to women but to people in general. This looks better than this looks better than this, and this looks better than this. And you might say, well, who cares what women are attracted to, bro? I don't work out for them. Yeah, okay, but you realize these physiques are more attractive for a reason, right? It's because they're healthier, they're able to move better, they are more practical, and they more closely resemble what our fit ancestors looked like while they were fucking hunting and gathering. Back then, there was no such thing as gyms, so the muscles they had were purely for functional and practical reasons, which is why they didn't have insanely high, damn near TRT muscle mass like, Sam Sulik and Larry Wheels and all these other guys. Because, dude, honestly, women are not attracted to those physiques because they're simply not hardwired to be. You need to get this idea that more muscles equals more attractive out of your head. It is just not true. There's an inverted U curve with the amount of muscle you actually build and how people perceive you. Not to mention, these physiques are literally unhealthy. Not only for your mental health by always having body dysmorphia and trying to get bigger because of social media standards, but literally also for your physical health. Most of these gym cells are actually really unhealthy. They have joint pain, they have back pain, they have herniated discs, low testosterone because of the way they train. That's why a lot of them end up hopping on TRT. The point is, it's just not a healthy physique. And if you want to be honest with yourself and admit that a big part of why you go to the gym is to be more attractive to women, then bodybuilder maxing is the last thing you want to do. The only only ROI you'll get from bodybuilder maxing is other dudes saying, damn man, respect, you got some good muscle on you, man, how much you bench? And yeah, men might be intimidated by you on some, oh wow, if that guy slapped my girl's ass, I'd be in trouble. But that's literally it. So train like an athlete, do high intensity training. You should be spending max 30 to 45 minutes at the gym. Anybody who talks to me and says, yeah dude, I go to the gym for 2 hours a day, I know you're bullshitting. I know you're on reels, you're taking like 10-minute rests in between your sets. 30 to 45 minutes, minimal rest in between your sets, prioritize compound lifts like squats, deadlifts, bench. Do your exercises standing instead of sitting so it's more functional and engages your core, and try doing full body workouts. I'm not going to get into the specifics because there's a lot of great information online if you're interested. But yeah, weightlifting is definitely at the top of this list, 100%. If you do it correctly, your physique is extremely important. There's obviously debate on what matters most, height, face, or physique. Listen, end of the day, you want to maximize all three. Weight training is crucial. Do not skip this. Let's move on. Next up, we have sprinting. Sprinting is so underrated, guys. Like, it's one of the most fundamental human movements. Our ancestors would just be walking around all day, and when they saw a deer or some shit, they would sprint. So you can kind of see a pattern here. Short bursts of high intensity is always better than low intensity because that's exactly what we evolved to do. Sprinting is the best way to mimic that. All you need to do is 5 to 10 sets of, 20-second sprints. Maybe do it like 3 to 4 times a week, and you will reap all the benefits. Now, here's where things get interesting. For the younger guys watching me in their early 20s or their teenage years, if your growth plates haven't closed yet, sprinting is your best friend to becoming as tall as your genetics possibly allow. I'm not saying if you're 5'4" and you start sprinting, you'll be 6'2". You're limited to some extent by genetics, but sprinting spikes a hormone called HGH, which stands for human growth hormone. This increases bone mineralization, enhances your protein synthesis, and does a bunch of scientific stuff, but the point is, it makes you taller. Along with releasing HGH, it also releases a hormone called IGF-1, which stands for insulin-like growth factor. So these two hormones together are not only going to help you grow taller if your growth plates are still open, but they're also going to help remodel and develop your cranium and maxilla by improving your bone density through mechanical load and pressure. But that's just me getting all nerdy with you. This is just to say that it literally helps change how your face looks. Your bone structure is going to change, your jawline is going to improve, your facial structure is going to improve just from doing those things. And the younger that you start, the better. This doesn't mean that you have an excuse, oh I'm too old to do this. You will still reap the benefits regardless of your age. So I really highly recommend sprinting. I honestly couldn't recommend it enough. This is going straight to elite. Next up, we have low intensity cardio. Yeah, so aside from reducing your body fat percentage, low intensity cardio doesn't really have much benefit when it comes to your attractiveness. Of course, if you're overweight, if you have like 20+% body fat, it's gonna do wonders for you. But honestly, I would say sprinting mogs low intensity cardio. But if you're an athlete or you train martial arts like me, you have to do some form of low intensity cardio, whether that's jump rope or jogging. So it's not terrible, but it doesn't really do much for your physical attractiveness other than body fat. It doesn't really have much to do with remodeling your bone structure, your cranium, like I talked about with sprinting. It's actually not the best for optimizing your testosterone either, because if you do it too long, it could elevate your cortisol levels, and cortisol and testosterone are antagonistic, which means they work against each other. So it's not good to have high cortisol levels. So I'm gonna put low intensity cardio at meh. It has its benefits, and I'm not saying you shouldn't do it. Obviously, some people have huge reasons to do it, but it's not as important for your physical attractiveness as sprinting and weight training. Next up, we have diet, and this is going straight to elite. Instantly, no debate. This is so crucial, guys. Like, your diet literally affects every little thing about you, including your looks, especially your looks. When you think of sub-5s or ugly people, the types of people black pillars make fun of, you think of what? A recessed jaw, underdeveloped maxilla, narrow face, etc. And you might be tempted to blame these things on genetics and say these people were dealt some really bad genes. But if you look at our ancestors, none of them really had recessed, ugly faces, the types of faces that you see today. And I don't mean to be disrespectful or rude, but I have to call out what it is. If you have an extremely recessed face, narrow, poor bone structure, your nose is crooked, something is wrong with your breathing. Something had to have been wrong with your diet growing up. Of course, genetics have a big role to play in how your face is shaped, but there is research that shows that our bone structures are weaker and less developed than our ancestors. Our skulls are smaller than they were hundreds of years ago. And I think this is largely because of our diet. Since we were kids, most of us in this modern day grew up malnutritioned. eating garbage like grains and wheat and soy in the form of bread, pasta, cornflakes. There is a direct link between the agricultural revolution and the weakening of our bone structure. And most of our parents unfortunately bought into the lies of what is nutritious and what is good for us and what isn't. And I won't lie to you, the younger you are, all the way down to the infancy stage, your diet is absolutely crucial. But you can still make the changes regardless of your age. There's a YouTuber called Oscar Patel who goes more in depth on the diet aspect of Looksmaxing, which is actually health maxing as he would call it. But the basics are that you need to make sure your diet foundation is red meat, eggs, raw dairy, and fruits. I can't get raw milk here in Canada because it's illegal for God knows why. But other forms of raw dairy work too. This is going to give your body all the micronutrients you need to be able to develop properly as you age. This is also going to clear up any acne you may have and help you build lean muscle mass quicker. Cut out the processed foods, cut out the seed oils, cut out the grains as much as you can. Okay, these things have no nutrition. These things are bad for you. They're endocrine disrupting, all of the bad stuff. Stick to a diet that consists of whole foods, red meat, eggs, raw dairy, fruits, and you will be absolutely golden. And if you happen to be 13, 14 years old and you find this video, you are absolutely blessed as well. But yeah, without a shadow of a doubt, diet is elite. Okay, next up we have sunlight. So this one's pretty straightforward. Sunlight has a ton of health benefits, but it's not going to directly make you that much more attractive. The effects are probably more indirect, but it's still crucial, and everyone should be getting direct sunlight exposure every single day if they can. One way sunlight does indirectly make you more physically attractive is by reducing your cortisol levels. This is going to improve your net androgen status, because it's not the total nanograms per deciliter of testosterone in your blood that matters, even though that's what most people think. It's your net androgen status. Shout out to Team 3D Alpha for that piece of knowledge right there. If you know, you know. But anyways, by boosting your net androgen and effective testosterone, you're able to increase your bone density and development even more during puberty, which is to say that sunlight has a very indirect effect. It's not really the sunlight making you more attractive, it's all the hormonal stuff going on in your body. So for that reason, I would probably put it at helpful. Of course, this would go at elite from a health perspective, but since we're looking at it from a physical attractiveness lens, it's helpful. Next up, we have sleep. Okay, I'm not going to spend too long on this, but sleeping is crucial for testosterone, which indirectly affects your looks and your recovery during sleep, allowing you to build muscle and all that. So let's put it at very helpful. You also look clapped if you're sleep deprived. Like, our faces just look more bloated. We have eye bags and stuff, so it's really good for your looks overall. Next up, we have supplements. Yeah, this is going to meh, and the reason I'm putting it there is because ideally you want to get most of your micronutrients from diet, but I get that sometimes we're deficient in things and it doesn't hurt to supplement. For example, I live in Canada and there isn't much sunlight this time of the year, so I take vitamin D. If I had to recommend supplements, I'd say zinc, vitamin D, magnesium, creatine, but really do your own research and find out what best suits you. But next up, we have fasting. So similar to sprinting, long fasts are going to boost your HGH levels, which are going to help you grow, given that your growth plates have not fully closed. It has a ton of other health benefits like lowering your cortisol, healing your gut health, etc. So intermittent fasting is great, but if you want to take it to the next level, try doing long 24-hour fasts. This is going to boost your HGH to the highest degree, which is not just good for height, but it's good for every other health benefit you can think of. Of course, consult a doctor if you need to. This is not me giving out medical advice or anything. Do this at your own risk, but I'm just saying, in my experience, it helps a lot. Next up, we have meditation. So I don't know, this has to go at one of these two. Probably going to put it at helpful. You might be thinking, how the hell does meditation affect your looks? Have you lost it? Well, let's not forget that testosterone has a big role to play in your looks, especially when you're hitting puberty. Testosterone is what's going to help develop your bone structure, give you that forward growth, and make you look as attractive as you possibly can be. And one of the worst inhibitors of testosterone is cortisol, elevated cortisol levels. What is a big cause of high cortisol? It's chronic stress. When you're always overthinking, stressed out about stuff, it's really bad. It plummets your testosterone, and that over a long period of time will affect your physical attractiveness. You guys might think I'm reaching here, but it's true. Meditation is going to help negate that to the highest degree. So I'm putting it at helpful because it's a very indirect correlation. But meditation is going to relax your parasympathetic nervous system. You're going to be chill. You're going to have low cortisol levels. Your testosterone is going to be good testosterone levels. Your net androgen status is going to be high, which is what we're looking for when we're trying to maximize not just our masculinity, our aggression, our drive, and all the other aspects of our life, but specifically our looks. Looking back, maybe I gave low intensity cardio too much hate. Maybe I'll bump it up here. Next up, we have avoiding phyto/xenoestrogens. Yeah, this is actually really helpful, probably at the top of helpful. Again, you might not see the correlation between this and your looks, but you have to remember these are endocrine disrupting hormones. So things like polyester clothing, synthetic fragrances, processed foods, plastics, all of these things are estrogenics, and they're literally turning you into a woman. And if you watch this channel, the last thing you want to be is a woman. So it's really hard to cut these out completely in this modern world, but trying to reduce them is going to allow your body and your hormones to actually be good. Very helpful to avoid these things. If you're interested, you can do some research and figure out what things have the most phyto and xenoestrogens and avoid them accordingly if you can. Next up, we have correct tongue posture, also known as mewing. You guys have probably heard of this. It's probably been shoved down your throat, but it works. I'm gonna say very helpful. It's going to directly improve your jaw alignment, promote forward growth of your maxilla, making your face look more attractive. Okay, if you want to mewing guide, I'm not going to make one. There's thousands of videos online showing you how to mew. Just search it up. Make sure that you have good tongue posture at all times, and it's more of a habit that's going to help you long term. Don't expect in 2 weeks you're going to see the most insane results, and actually if you already have a pretty developed bone structure, you may not even see that much of a difference from mewing. But if you have like a sub 5 face, correct tongue posture is going to help you maximize your bone structure as much as you can. And if you want to take it to the next level, you can look up techniques like thumb pulling. I don't have much experience in that field, but I've heard really good stuff about it, so do your own research. Okay, I'm trying to make this tier list from an open mind. I don't have all the answers, but I hope that after this you're going to be inspired to look for some. Next up, we have correct posture. This is elite because not only will fixing your posture just give you a nice extra inch of height, like if you have really bad posture, let's say you have bow-leggedness, you have an anterior pelvic tilt, and you have a bit of a slouch, just fixing that and getting in the habit of having good straight posture, you grow by an inch. Congratulations. Like, that's free height right there. Why would you not take that, right? And in this black pill world that we live in, every inch matters, boys. Remember that. So having correct posture, not only is it going to help support your bone development, your forward growth of your face, because a lot of it is contingent upon your neck muscles. The way that your jawline and stuff looks is contingent upon your posture and how your sort of spine is aligned. But fixing posture, really easy, and it has a high ROI. Do some chin tucks, do some face pulls. Next up, we have fixing your chewing and swallowing habits. So for most people, because we've had horrible habits growing up, the way we chew is completely wrong. What we need to start doing is chewing not only harder foods, but chewing more, so your body has an easier time to break down the enzymes and absorb the micronutrients that the food has. And the more you chew hard foods, the more you exercise the muscles in your face and your jaw. And just like anywhere else, right? I know people say there's no gym for your face, bro. The gym's only for your body. Actually, there are muscles in your jaw which can be exercised by chewing hard food, and they will look better and more prominent by you doing that. If you want more details and exact step-by-step guides, check out Oscar Patel's channel. He's the only Looksmaxing guy I actually trust, and he gives out great information. So I'm going to put this at very helpful. And lastly, guys, we have neck training. People sleep on neck all the time, but I'm telling you, a thicker neck is going to complement your entire face. So make sure that you train your neck. Do your neck curls, do your neck extensions. I'm not saying you have to do a lot, and I'm not saying you have to progressively overload to lots of weight, but doing 3 sets a day before you sleep or 3 sets in the morning is going to help. It gives you a more masculine appearance, and it gives the illusion of a wider and more defined face. There's this very famous photo, I'm going to put it up on the screen, of Jeremy Meeks with skinny neck and with a thick neck, and it makes a world of difference, right? So training your neck, getting a thicker neck is going to help. I'm going to put this at very helpful. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. These are all the ways that you can maximize your physical attractiveness, and I'll see you in the next one.